Well, I just climbed myself out of the pit of despair, and it's amazing!
I never have to dig this out ever again.
And I can get this done without breaking my back. Welcome to episode 3 of installing these frost-free hydrants. Let me give you a little recap of what we've done so far. First thing we did was we located our previously installed water line from like 40 years ago. We trenched out to where we want the water lines to actually be at, and then we cut through the existing water line and installed the line to the frost-free hydrants. We got them all installed, at which point we tested it and found that there was a break in the line where there is some sort of a hydrant thing in our shop that has not been insulated correctly, and so it has some cracks in it. It was leaking like crazy, leaking underground. So we are today going to figure out how to fix that. Due to the fact that it's already freezing cold out here. It's probably, I think our high today is 36. Last night got down to 19 degrees. We had to backfill over our water lines just a little bit to keep them from freezing. We just put maybe a foot of dirt on there. They are going to be 4 feet underground when it's all said and done, but for now we've got them buried about a foot to keep them from freezing until we can get everything tested to make sure all of our connections are not leaking, at which point we will then backfill everything.
To the bone, just trying to make something out of nothing, you know. He never wanted silver, gold, or the finer thing. Just a wife and kids, a home in the American dream. Whoa, how you gonna step in line?
Found the bottom of the hole, and we got that other pipe out of there. Now I gotta dive down that hole and try to fill that thing in. Put it right in there. I'm just gonna put a little cap on that. Here we go. Do you have your channel lock there, Dad?
The channel lock?
Yeah.
I get claustrophobic down in there. How'd you get out of there so easy?
That's on there. I don't know how tight. If I can put my feet in here. Well, I just climbed myself out of the pit of despair. We got that fitting on there. We are now turning the water on and praying that it doesn't leak anywhere else, because I don't know where else to go if this one doesn't work. I'm not sure exactly where we left off last night, so we're going to recap a little bit. We got everything dug, got all the piping, plumbing put in, turned the spigots on, nothing happened except it leaked in the shop. So yesterday we dug the line out in the shop, put a cap on it. It was just a pipe, it wasn't even a frost-free anything, just a random pipe coming out of the ground. It was all bent up from the door hitting it. Why you would put a pipe like that in a shop that's unheated, I don't know, but that's what it was. So anyway, we got it all capped off, turned the water on again, still no pressure. So we went inside, we broke the line just at the union there, turned the valve on, still no pressure. So we thought the valve was bad. This morning, I've spent all morning replacing that valve, and the other main valve to our house. I replaced them both while I was there because it was easy and convenient, and the main valve to our house has been broken since the day we moved in, so we can't turn the water off except for by turning off the pump, at which point we have to let the pressure drain down. So if we ever had a leak in the house, we couldn't just turn the water off. We'd have to let our whole pressure tank drain into wherever was leaking. Bad idea. So we got those 2 valves replaced, turned the water back on, still no pressure. Then I realized that there is a T where the valve, where the water line splits off to come out here. There's a T there that has not been used in a long time. We get a lot of sediment out of our well, and I thought, hey, I bet this T has been crammed full of sediment. So I pulled it all apart again, pulled that T off, sure enough, full of sediment, cleaned it out, put it back together, turned the water on out here, and it's amazing! We have like triple the water that we had coming out of the house spigot. So this will be awesome for us, save us a lot of time getting water for these cows, and a lot of hauling hoses back and forth. Now I gotta go find me a hose that's this right length, but that shouldn't be hard to do. So I'm just gonna buy me a cheap hose that'll run this far, and then we can just give these cows water to our heart's content. So there's the kind of pressure we're getting out here. This is the furthest distance from the house. So we are about 200 feet out from the house, and that's a lot of water coming out of there. Now that I got everything flowing like it should, I want to do a flow test on this and see how many gallons per minute we're going to get out of these hydrants out here. A minute 15. That is 16 gallons in a minute and 15 seconds. I don't know how to calculate that. I'm going to go 16 divided by 5. So it's 3.2 gallons every 15 seconds. It's for about 13 gallons a minute. There is an easier way to calculate that. I don't know what it is. I don't math real well. 13 gallons a minute as compared to the 5 to 7 that we get out of the house. Depending on if the pump is running or not, it varies a little bit, but we get somewhere between 5 and 7 coming out of the house. 13 is great. I can do a lot with 13 gallons per minute. We are now finally ready to finalize these hydrants. We're going to put a cement block underneath them to get them something to rest on, as well as put some gravel around the base where that weep hole is, so that we don't have to worry about it getting clogged, and it can drain as it should, and everything will function, and I never have to dig this out ever again. So I've got this one all set in there, everything set, solid, good to go. Starting to fill this hole back in. It is a lot of work. We got some rain yesterday and this dirt is heavy. So I'm gonna move on to the other one, get it all set, and then we're gonna get some heavier equipment in here to move this.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about. Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
There's a joint on the corner where the big boys play, where the whiskey's running like the river, but they all never come for the booze and bass. I'm the one, I'm the lady that'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this place.
I think that should be good enough that it's not going anywhere.
Okay, now.
So we're gonna stop doing that by hand, and we're gonna get some heavy equipment in here. My dad is actually bringing over the mini excavator, a different one, they're renting one. He's still doing some landscaping at his place, taking out some trees, so he said he'd just bring it over real fast and we can fill these in. It'll save me a few hours of work, and I can get this done without breaking my back.
That'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this place.
We got them put in. It's actually been almost a week and a half now since I got these installed. I just want to come back and wrap up a few things. So a couple things that we did that you may not have seen real well is, one, we threw this level on here to get that thing as level as we can. It may not be perfect, but it's pretty darn close. The other thing we did was put this post in so that I can connect this to the fence that's right behind it. This is the furthest away from the house, back behind the corral that the cows are in. So that post is there so I can kind of wrap some fencing around it, keep the cows away from this so that they're not rubbing their heads on it. Cows have a tendency to rub their heads on everything. I don't need this being broken off by a cow rubbing its head on it, so I'm going to fence it off. The one in the garden should be pretty protected in there. If we do put animals in the garden, we'll just fence around it a little bit too on that corner, and we shouldn't have any problems. We also took advantage of having that mini excavator out here and pulled out a whole bunch of some old fence posts that were out here leaning over. They were mostly rotted off. We're going to be building a new fence here so we can make some pasture out of this back. It's about 1/4 of an acre. Not going to be enough to keep all of our cows out here, obviously, but it'll give them something. We'll put it into our grazing rotation, and if we're keeping a steer or something here for the kids to show, they'll have some grass to come out and nibble on. But yeah, we're getting some stuff down out here. Hopefully by next year we'll have this all fenced in and we can actually use this back portion of our property. But it's going to be a little bit of work to get it into actual pasture. So this is the 3rd year I've seen it grow, 2nd year maybe. There is not a blade of grass out here. We get some sort of like a brambly low brush stuff. It grows up maybe 6 inches and just turns to like thorns and then dies off. It gets all trampled down or blown down with the wind and knocked down, and the next year it just grows back up again. So we'll have to get some actual grass planted out here and then see if we can get something to grow.